So this is really going to speak to this year, 2016, our harvest year that I felt like God gave us a word over. But I really think that this is not only going to speak to this year, and there's going to be a lot of things that make sense to you, but it'll speak to your next year too. And then we've got a lot of other things to share with you guys. So just open your hearts and open your minds up and ready for it. Hold on. So make sure that you guys mute your audios, please. You all know how to do it, so just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys. Hey, it's awesome to see all of you guys on here. Hold on.
We're on a bed. We don't have an office.
Hey, so we just wanted to chat with you a little bit about, I think what Rachel had already mentioned about it was so amazing that she had this word harvest for this year. And it's funny that when God speaks to us, sometimes he gives us a word that we don't fully understand at the beginning. Rachel heard this word harvest, and I think immediately we were thinking, all right, here we go. It's going to be a banner year. We're going to do so good. And we realized a little bit into hearing that word harvest just a couple weeks later, we realized that 2016 was a Shemitah year, and Shemitah is it's an interesting concept in the Bible, in Jewish tradition. You know, God is really intense about rest. It's so interesting how God commanded us to rest on the seventh day, and in the seventh year, he commands us to rest. And then after the seventh year, so on the 50th year, he commands us to rest. And the seventh year is called a Shemitah, and that is the year of Jubilee, right? That's when a lot of things were supposed to happen, and that was last year. And when I say that God is intense about the Shemitah, that seventh year having a year of rest, literally you can go back in the two exiles that Israel experienced, where other armies and people came in and took over the nation and took the people into exile. God did that because they refused to observe the Shemitah, the Sabbath. And so anyways, it's just amazing. It's an amazing concept, and that's what 2016 was. Well, here's the concept of that really hit Rachel and I recently, is that the Shemitah year is a year of rest, and harvest is a huge part of it. And the reason is because you're not supposed to plant. You're supposed to rest. And God promised that he would bring a supernatural harvest that would be just enough. It's the Shemitah year. It's not a bumper. This year, 2016. It's not a bumper crop. It's not some harvest that is going to blow people's socks off. In that year, God just wants you to sit and rest and allow him to provide. And what does he provide? Just enough. The symbol is the manna, and we're talking super Bible here. So for those of you who aren't familiar, or church people, I'm sorry, but when the Israelites were wandering around the desert, God would provide food every morning. They would wake up and it was called manna. It would just be on the ground and they would collect it. And they always had just enough. If they collected more than that, it would go rotten. And so I think God's promise for a harvest, in 2016, was just enough. And that was true in our lives. We didn't have some bumper crop in 2016, but we had enough. We had just enough. Now, this is the last thing I want to say about this. What's the point? Why does God want the land to rest and your business to rest and your heart to rest during that year? It's because he's preparing the soil, and he's preparing your heart, and he's preparing you to bear much fruit in the years to come. He wants the land and the people to rest, because in the following 6 years, he wants to bless you like crazy. He just wants you to take a year off. And that's what this last year was. And it was funny because we were okay, we're going to work hard because harvest, Shemitah year. And we totally didn't even understand what we were talking about. It's a year of rest where you don't have a massive harvest. God provides just enough. And the reason is because he's preparing the ground for something huge in the future. So that just hit us. It meant a lot to us. And Rachel asked me to share that with you. So yeah.
So the next few years then is actually going to be less, but be what happens is that people don't, and so God takes away. And it's almost I feel that's kind of what happened, but we didn't even know. But I feel that's overall, across the world, people felt it everywhere, and there's a spiritual symbolism
in that year,
to it.
It doesn't matter what you plant. God doesn't intend for you to have a harvest that you planted yourself. God wants to just provide for you while you rest.
And just enough.
And some of us
Just
were
enough.
kicking against that. Like, we weren't resting this year. We burned ourselves out this year trying to do something that God didn't want us to do. He wanted us to
So
rest.
sometimes he just puts a lid on us, basically, to just keep us from succeeding. Because if we were constantly in a place of success, then we would hurt ourselves, like physically, like our adrenals would burn out. Like, you guys have seen like what happened with my sister. Those physical things can really happen. And that's like goes beyond it works. I mean, this was like a long time coming for them, but like from not resting. But God does it because he physically actually wants to save our bodies from harm, and so there is a pattern to rest. And so if you look across the globe, I wouldn't say that it's a coincidence that across the globe sales are low, everything is low, because he's like put a cap on it. It's the year to be able to rest, because the next, what do you say, 6 years, 5 years?
6 years.
6 years. The next 6 years are going to be a year.
It's time to work hard.
It's time to work. It's time to work. It's time to harvest. And, you imagine like farmers and how they do that.
And can I just prove this? Like, the last time we had a year like 2016, the Shemitah year, when was it? Or that Jubilee year. It wasn't the Shemitah, it was a Jubilee year. When was it? It was 2008. What did God do in 2008?
We know what 2008 happened.
The market crashed. What happened before that? The one when the Shemitah year started before that, guess what it was? It was 9/11. It was when the airplanes hit the Twin Towers.
And the markets crashed again. So it's like every 8 years. Yeah.
That cycle, it's always a time to stop and to seek God and to rest. And we're asking God for forgiveness because we missed it. Thankfully, his grace is awesome, and he still did what he wanted to do. But we just wanted to, that's a powerful spiritual principle. So
more than anything, I think that he just teaches us through these things, because we don't know. I mean, like a lot of times I think we're ignorant to those things. And so it's like a really good lesson, and give it another 8 years or whatever it was. 7. So 7 years, give it another 7 years and count that down and just wait for that year, and you'll see it's another year to just know that you have to rest. And so if anything I've learned, no matter how hard you work, it's like there's a cap on what you do.
Yeah.
So whether you put in a lot, like if you worked hard and you like enrolled a lot of people and you felt like you didn't like see blossoms from it, but you have in years past, there's a reason for it. And if you felt like you didn't enroll very many people, or like everybody said no to you, there's probably a reason for it, is all I'm saying.
Can I just say something though? Yeah. I felt a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I felt like this release in the spirit. I had been praying all this year for our business. I pray for our business every day. And every time I prayed, I felt like I was hitting this cap, like this supernatural wall. Like, it's like if you pray and you know that you're not praying in agreement with God, you can feel it. But about a month ago, I'm praying for God, God to just flourish our business. And all of a sudden it was like that lid was removed, and I felt like God was in agreement. Like, yes, I'm going to bless your business. It's going to be amazing. Well, guess what? Like, I found out the year ended, the year of Jubilee. They're not on the same calendar as us. The year of that year, Shemitah year, ended about a month ago. And I don't know, raise your hand if you felt a breakthrough like me. I felt like in the spirit, there's just this, like over the last month or so, there's been this sort of breakthrough. And it's interesting because it lifted, like that year of rest lifted, and it's time to get busy. It doesn't start in January, it starts now. So.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost like, the hamster on the wheel when you've just been spinning your wheels. So there are people who rested and there are people who didn't. Like, of course I didn't. I was like working hard. And it's like we were all doing the same thing though. So I should have in that time, yes, been consistent, but not strived. Mm-hmm. It's almost like we were like grasping for straw.
Yeah.
And you weren't going anywhere. Does that make sense? And so it's like I'm not saying like not do your business or quit, but there was a striving inside of me. And I don't know if y'all had that, but I did. And so it was like I was grasping for a straw. And so I feel like that's over. So I should have taken this time and just really rested and trusted in God, because that would have been better for my health. That would have been better for my stress levels. That would have been better for my breakouts, my skin breakouts. Do you know what I mean? Like I could have had a whole year of just been like, I trust you, God. Like I'm just doing this out of joy instead of trying to do this and be completely stressed out. So I learned a big lesson, if anything. And, I think when the lights turned on for us was when his friend was here who lived in Israel for a while. And like he started talking about the Shemitah year, and we were just like, oh my gosh, like, oh, here we are at the end of the year. Dang it.
Calling us to rest.
And it's not like we're in trouble or anything. I'm just saying that like, if you felt really odd in your business this year, there's a good chance there's a link to it, is what I'm saying. So you have great things to look forward to. I do feel like like 6, if you just research the number 6, that's man's number, okay? But 7 is, research it, Google it, 7 is God's number. There's so many good things that come with 7. There's so many weird things that come with 6. And so, like, I am ready to move on from this year and march into our 2017 and what, and I'm going to wrap up, and then I'm going to let Samantha share, and then Candace and Ivan are going to share. But something that just kind of like hit me with this whole thing, and then his friend visiting us, he was like, Rachel, can you just rest? Can you just rest like for a week? Can you just turn off your phone and like, can you rest over like the Christmas break? Can you just trust God? Can you show God that you just trust him? Are you able or capable of even doing that? Because he's like, I know you love what you do, and I know you do it, and you obviously have a passion for it, but he's like, can you just rest? And I was like, I think so.
She's like screaming. She's like, I don't know.
And he's like, well, I'll just challenge you to turn off your phone for a week over the Christmas break. And he was like, just be with your family. Because he was like, whether your business prospers or it fails during that time, he goes, whether that your business fails or prospers during that time, he goes, it doesn't matter. You're literally just showing God that, hey, I trust you and I'm ready for 2017.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. And like, I'm going to go for it full force. But like during that time, he was like, why don't you just commit it to prayer instead of like working? Pray. He goes, that's truly resting your crops and like resting. So anyways, I was like, oh, I feel like challenged, and I was like, I want to do it. I want to do it for that week of Christmas, those 5 or 6 days of Christmas. I'm like, okay, like with everything in me be like so hard not to, but I need to be able to express myself knowing like I'm not going anywhere if I unplug. Okay. Like you guys know that about me. I'm committed. It's that he's saying you need to rest. Like you just need to show God in this year that you can rest, even if it's for a time, even if the light bulb just turned on and you just figured it out, you need to show God that you can rest. So that was my personal challenge. I'd love to pass it on to you all, depending on where your hearts are, depending on what you're doing. I don't know where you're at right now. But for me, that's what I needed to do. And I really, really, really liked that a lot. And I'm going to be able to pray and intercede for my business and just trust God for it and just say, Lord, I trust you. It's not up to me. It's not up to me for my success. It's not up to me for what I provide for my family. It's up to you. So anyways, that's kind of like what I was feeling and stirring that I wanted to be able to share with you guys. And wait, you have to come back. Not done yet.
I'm still here.
So I want to pass it on to Samantha, and we're also going to open this up for conversation after we're all done. And we'd love to talk. Whatever you guys want to say, whatever you want to talk about, it's here. This is a trusted place, guys. This is like leadership, okay? So you're good to do do. It's like nothing's filtered, okay? All right, Samantha.
All right, guys. Hello. That was good, Rachel. Wow, that was really good. You told us you had good stuff for us. That was really good. I think I saw Andrea put that like just, a lot of questions I think were answered in that. But it's been a year. You guys, I don't know if you've realized it, but not even just in the It Works world, it's been a year. I'm going to show you this really funny meme that I saw today. And there was a bunch of them, but I just saved this one because it was hilarious to me. But because it shows you that we are not the only ones that are going through this year. Let me show you this. It's funny. And it was like this whole stream of like the beginning of 2016 and me at the end. And it was like they were all Rex at the end. But this was like not a networks person that shared it. It was just somebody, it was one of those BuzzFeeds, it was just somebody sharing the funny memes that were for this year. And so anyway, it's been a year for a lot of people. But the most exciting thing to me is that we can focus on the hardships that happen this year, or we can focus on the hope that we get to bring. And everybody else that is struggling this year, whether they're in different businesses, different industries, I think this person was a celebrity that posted it. Like, there are people that are struggling this year for whatever reason. It was a weird year. And we have hope. So that's exciting to me. Like, I've struggled this year as well. Like, I feel like, Rachel, I was talking to Rachel and Candy, just like you guys, it's been such a weird year. I feel like after hitting ambassador, like we were running hard, we're working hard, and I didn't stop. I kept running hard and I kept working hard, but there was like a shift, and all of a sudden everything that I was doing to get to ambassador wasn't working anymore. And you know, after the first month, it was like, oh, it's just a weird month, it's fine. And then after the second month, it was like, this is kind of weird. I'm not sure. And then after the fourth and fifth month, I'm like, what is wrong with me? And all of a sudden, I'm like, what's wrong with me? It must be me. I must be a bad leader. If I'm not filling up my steps to success and I'm the ambassador on my team page, like that makes me a horrible. So all of a sudden, all these thoughts are coming through my head, and I'm starting to doubt myself, and I'm starting to doubt the work that I'm doing, that it works. Like, we have products everybody wants. So it's not the products, it's not the business, because it's incredible. It's not even the actions I'm doing. I think it's exactly what Rachel said. It was just like, there was a lid and I couldn't get past it. But some of you are there right now where you busted your butt and you didn't see fruit, and you're like, what is wrong with me? And you're looking at yourself and you're feeling like a failure. And I'm talking to you right now. If you're like, I rocked this year, you're awesome. I'm going to feed off of you. But for those of you that are like, you're getting to the end of this year and you're like, this year sucked. What's wrong with me? Or I feel like a failure. I'm talking to you because I want you to know you're not alone. I had the awesome opportunity to talk with Pam Souter about this. I reached out to her because I'm like, I'm just in this funk. I can't get out of it. What's wrong with me? So I sent her a message, and she's like, let's talk on the phone. And that was so intimidating, guys. I talked with Pam Souter on the phone. Like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. And I was so nervous, but I just let it all out. I started to let out, like, I've been doing everything right. But if you look at my numbers, I'm ashamed of them. I'm ashamed of myself. And you guys, guess what? Shame is not from God. That's not God. So I'm obviously listening to the wrong voices, right? But in the process of talking to Pam, she started she's amazing. And she's such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. And she's been through it all. So that's why, right? But she starts talking to me about what you're allowing yourself to meditate and to think on. And she starts talking about how, you know, she says it's like dating. When you're dating and you feel like a loser and you feel ugly and you feel like you have nothing to offer, you're going to be like, why am I only attracting losers? It's so true, right? But then if something switches in your brain and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I am awesome. Like, any man would be so lucky to have me. Like, I'm going to be an amazing wife one day. Like, I have so much to give. I'm funny. I'm great. Like, if you actually believe that, you would start attracting the right kind of people to you. And so in the midst of like seasons that are slower in business, all of a sudden we start listening to the wrong thoughts and we start thinking, what's wrong with me? And then all of a sudden that's what we're attracting, right? Because the things that we speak, like I heard this and it just, you know, just amazing. But our words create the world that we live in. So if you're speaking like, I suck, no one wants to sign with me, what's wrong with me, I'm a failure, this isn't working, guess what? That's the fruit that you're bringing forth. That's what you're bringing forth. So I had to stop, and after I talked to Pam, and there was a lot more that was said in this conversation, but basically it comes down to what you believe, because the things that you believe, the things that you speak, that's what you're going to create. That's what's going to happen. And there's like actually a scientific study about this. There's a book that scientifically talks about why it's like this, but so that I know for me, that's something I had to focus on. I had to focus on what I was believing, what I was allowing myself to think. And I'm still in process, just so you guys know, but I just realized, like, just because it's been a hard year doesn't mean it's over. Like, I read this the other day and it was just so powerful. Let me pull it up. It was so powerful for me, and I think it will be for some of you. It was talking about how this year may have felt like, for some of you, it may felt like a pressing of a pressure point. But that in the pressure, in the stretching, in the fire, God has been molding you. He's been preparing you, shaping you, bringing dross to the surface and healing you. He's been purifying you, cleaning your heart, and pruning you for promotion, and to shine his light and reflect him clearer than ever before. The pressure point that's been continually pressed in 2016 but you're going to experience great relief in 2017. And I started thinking about, I don't pray to have a ton of money. That's never been my prayer. My prayer has just been, I want to help a lot of people. Like, I want to be able to change the world. Like, I'm dumb enough to believe that I can change the world. So that's always been my prayer. Like, I want to change the world. How can I do that? And in this business, I have found that we can bring people hope and bring people freedom. And that's pretty world changing, right? And so obviously, though, to have influence, to have that, to be able to change the world, we need to have our hearts purified and our minds purified. And so sometimes we are going to go through seasons that feels like fire, but it's because God's bringing us into a position where he's purifying us and helping us to be better. Because if we can get through hard seasons, if we can get through them, because I've seen a lot of people leave this year. It's been hard for a lot of people, and a lot of people have left. And I honestly feel sorry for them. They missed it. Like, I really feel like sometimes God, like, he doesn't throw things at us to test us intentionally. He's not like, I'm going to ruin your world to test you. He's not like that. He's so good. But I think that there are times where we have things that happen where he looks at our hearts and he says, what are you going to do now? And what we decide to do determines everything. And there's grace and there's forgiveness when we make wrong choices because he's good. But I feel bad for the ones that quit because I feel like they missed it. They missed it. Like, we have this perfect opportunity to learn from this, not to like look at, oh, this went wrong, this went wrong, but actually like, okay, what can I learn from this? What happened this year that was hard, and what can I learn from it so that I can be better, so that I can be a better leader, be a better role model, be a better person, because I want to have a pure heart, and so I need God to purify it. And sometimes if we're being deceived, you don't know you're being deceived. So sometimes God needs to show us. But another thing she said too was, and this is one of my favorite verses, but Ephesians 3:20. This was good. Where is it? God will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power constantly energizes you. That's from the Passion Translation. But I love Ephesians 3:20, and that's always been the prayer of my heart, because we've been through hard seasons and we've been through beautiful seasons. But even in the midst of the hard and in the midst of the beautiful, that's still a promise. He can do immeasurably more than you ask, think, or imagine. Like, that's who he is. So are we going to believe him in the hard times? Are we going to believe him? And I think it's just a really good chance to do that. So for those of you that have been busting your butt, just know that, like what Rachel said, like, there is going to be a harvest. You will harvest it. You have to trust that what you have been doing, like, you will harvest it. It's the whole principle of farming, and just what Rachel said. So if you have been sowing the seeds and you're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Don't give up. Don't give up, because something huge is coming and you get to be a part of it. And you went through this year and now we get to go back. Even on the It Works cruise, and hanging out, we got to be part of Dash, which is amazing. But my favorite part of it was hanging out with people that have been in the company 8 years, 10 years, because guess what? They've been here before. And so when Candy and I walked in there and we're talking to some people that have been in the company 8+ years, and we're like, it's been a little bit of a weird year. Has this ever happened before? And they're like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. And they're like totally fine, just drinking their wine, like, whatever, no big deal. And Candy and I are like, is this the last time we're going to be at Dash? Like, we're kind of like, oh, what's going on? But they're just so like at peace with it. And guess what? I want to be that person. I want to be that person that in 10 years, I can look at the ones that are new, like us, and say, you're going to be fine, honey. It's just a season. It's a business. It happens. I want to be that person that gets to like, just rest and trust when it's hard, right? Anyway, so I just wanted to encourage all of you that are struggling right now. It's okay. It's going to be fine. God has something huge for us. I'm really excited about 2017 because I did feel the season shift that Rachel was talking about. I really felt it. And so I feel excitement. And, before I was feeling defeated, and all of a sudden I had to realize, like, I'm not defeated. Like, we're in an amazing company at the right time. Like, why are we feeling this way, right? Why? because we're listening to the wrong voices. So we just got to shift the way that we're thinking. I've been reading Crash the Chatterbox by Stephen Furtick. If you guys are struggling with that, it's an amazing book. You got to read it because it talks all about that, the things that we allow ourselves to think and the processes. It's really, really good. But anyways, I think that's all I got for now. I love you guys. And
I wanted to share one thing too. But like, just to add on to what Samantha was saying that I meant to share earlier, is that we're all newbies to this. We really are. Like even like I would be the longest one on here, doing this longest. There'll be 4 years in February, but like we're all newbies. We haven't figured it out. We don't know like how this works. We're just all working through it together. And I think more than anything, like what with Samantha and Candace and I were talking about earlier, Jeremy had to run because the kids were yelling upstairs. But the one thing that we've all decided is that like this is what we want to do. And a lot of like what we've done has, I feel like you have to decide in your like head what your heart wants to do, but then you have to decide what your heart is telling you to do, and then you have to make actions with your head. Does that make sense? So like a lot of times people will say like you got to go from your head to your heart, you know, but like with this business, it starts with your heart. And then you've got to move up to your head and tell yourself you've got to do these daily things, you know, that will help you take action. Because like we're sitting here and we're soaking in our dreams and we've got our plans and we've got our ideas, but then we actually have to take action on them. And that's what's hard in this business. It's hard every day. Like at the end of the day, if you're working, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone, you know, or whatever. But like, you've got those dreams there and that's what's keeping you here. But you've got to move all those things up to your head so that you can start moving and taking action. Because, you know, if you got to Diamond, which is you're on here, right? Like you're on here because you got to Diamond. Well, I truly believe, and I was telling the girls earlier, I was like, and they agree, if you can get to Diamond, you can get to Ambassador. You can. You know the technique that it takes in order to get there. Okay, so if we can just consider ourselves, like what happened, you know, with me moving in so quickly, it was really unusual, okay? And we understand that. But we also understand like the sacrifice that I've lived since I was 19 years old. I lived a very unusual life and I always have. But let's like get down into reality of like building this business and like, what are you called to do? Are you called to do it? That's the first thing. You've got to figure out, is this what you want to do with your life? Like, and then what is it that you're doing? We're delivering hope to people, right? And we're helping them make healthier choices, and we're trying to live a healthier lifestyle too. So we're trying to live healthier lifestyles, and we want to help other people live healthier. And then we want to help bring financial freedom to people. So what does that look like? How does that work? Is that an overnight pop happen success? No. It's like a journey, you know, it's a consistent lifelong journey. So some of you guys got to Diamond really fast and then you've seen struggle. Some of you, it took a long time to get to Diamond. Regardless of whatever happens, the story is the story. We're all babies. We are. We're babies in this business. We have no idea what in the heck we're doing. And in 10 years' time, we're going to look back and we're all going to be very, very, very wise people. We're going to be like, we can tell you how to build a network marketing business. We can tell you and teach you how to build residual income. Like, can I tell you just how much more wise we will be? And I would say in the long run that God is way more concerned with our wisdom and what we can give to other people than our fast success to money. He doesn't really care about that. He much more cares about our character and like how we can lead other people and how we can then handle our money. Because if you don't learn how to handle your money, it will just go right through your fingers. You know, we learned the very hard way that a lot of money causes a lot of taxes, okay? So I can tell you, as much as you may want to be in my shoes, you don't at the same time. We owe more taxes than you'll make in a year, and it's like a nightmare. So with that said, thank God we sold our land and we're getting ahead, and he gave us wisdom with that. But you guys, we're all learning. That's what I'm trying to say, is whether you're at my level or at your level, or you're at a place where you're like, I'm just covering my auto ship right now. You do know how to run this business. You've been given the wisdom. You figured it out. You know how to work it. We're babies. Okay, so let's get off the train of like, do I keep doing this or not? You just started, really. I mean, when you look at the wisdom of like what a doctor gains, I mean, they're in like how many years of school before they can actually start operating and like actually doing things. And so you're gaining wisdom. You're already good at something. You've figured that out. You know that. You've seen a good paycheck. But now you're learning how to become an expert in this field. And so I just wanted to add that, because that was something that we talked about earlier, and I didn't mention it when Jeremy was talking about the Shemitah, but these were just very practical things that I was thinking about. And I just feel like all of us are learning at the same time. And so anyway, take that into 2017. Know where you're going, know what you're called to do, and then do it with all of your heart, because you can't fail if you're doing what you're called to do and you're doing it with all of your heart. You can't fail. Forget the money. Forget what's coming in every month. If you do it out of the joy of your heart, you're going to be happy with whatever happens. So whether your paycheck's $100 or your paycheck's $20,000, you're happy because you're doing what you're called to do. So that's my plea to you all, is know what you're called to do. Because whether you're making a couple $100 or you're making thousands and thousands, you're going to be happy in that. And I think you have to find that first, and then you're going to get happy. And then you're going to work out of joy instead of striving for straw, like I was talking about earlier. So anyways, I had to complete my thoughts, but that was it. And
this is a good time to transition, because you know, one thing that we wanted to talk to you about, I mean, Ivan's been in sales for over 12 years now. And also coming from a perspective, because we did have six-figure income before It Works. You know, my salary was, you know, over $90,000 with and bonuses and commissions. And so we had seen money before, but here's what I will share, because every single person on here that sticks through and pushes through, and like what Rachel just said, you feel that this business is on your heart, you're going to see really big money. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes? Okay. Somebody said they couldn't hear. You guys are going to see really big money. And so what I want to share is that when we, in our past, when we were making, you know, a solid salary, what most people would think like, wow, it's dreamy, we didn't steward our money well. We started, every time we get a pay raise, we'd start living up to that dollar. We would get new TVs. We'd, you know, upgrade our cable. We would get, upgrade our cell phone bill. We got a new car. And so when I lost my job, we took vacations. When we lost my job, and we lost our set income, when we lost my job and my set income, we had nothing to show for. We didn't have much of a savings account. We had a lot of debt. And the 2 years I didn't work, we accrued a lot of debt. And so I share this to say that when I started It Works, I feel like we got a second chance. And so we've been, we have, you know, from the beginning knew that this money wasn't ours, and went straight towards our debt, because the thought of having like the amount of credit card debt we had and all that, like, was just really, really scary for us when we had only 100% commission before It Works as well. So there was no set income. And, you know, I do know that, you know, with this business, a lot of times it's so new for people that as you're seeing money, it just looks easy to like, hey, let me just quit my job and let's just like throw our eggs in this basket. And one thing Ivan and I feel like we've learned a lot through this year, through, you know, a lot of people, and, you know, you guys are going to be bringing so many people into your business that I think if anything, we need to just, you know, encourage each other to do whatever it takes to provide for our families. I think Ivan wanted to share something, you know, because we've been through some tough times even before this business, on 100% commission with him, where there was literally no paychecks coming in multiple months, and he had to take a part-time job. So I think that, you know, sometimes it might be a little bit of pride, like, oh, I quit my job. What are my friends going to think if I have to go get another job again and whatnot? And that's not it at all. That's a lie. And so,
yeah, I mean, it was, I was, you know, looking back when I had to take a part-time job, and you know, like I had to show my wife like that I would do whatever it would take, you know, to let her know that the bills were going to be paid. Yes, I love real estate, and I've seen, you know, $120,000 paychecks made out to one person, so like I got exposed to that, early in my career, and I saw, well, like this is a way to make it. So I was not gonna let go of it. And yeah, even when I started experiencing success like right away, that I felt like I'm never letting go of this. So it reminds me like kind of like what you guys are experiencing, like you've seen success and we've been to conferences, we know like there is no limit to what we can do. And like I had gotten a call from one of our distributors, and he was a guy who was asking me for encouragement, because there was changes in his check, and like I guess everything happens for a reason. We go through our seasons, like right now it's like Sammy said, like 10 years down the line you'll be the one telling somebody, hey, I've been through that, don't worry, like I'm gonna give you vision because I've been through there. And for me, like going through getting that part-time job, I remember not taking any lunches.
He went, just let me add that the part-time job he took, he really humbled himself. He has a college degree, has made some serious income with real estate, and during the recession, he went to go work for Allstate, making what, $10 an hour? Not even, I don't know, whatever minimum wage was.
It would have been maybe like $29,000 for the whole year. And so I worked my tail off to be able to still, I mean, I didn't have lunches. The guys that I met there, like, instead of inviting me, they would invite me to lunch, and then I would be like, see me on the phone and be like, forget you, like, because I was not going to go with them. I was making calls. I was trying to figure out how I could get on another appointment as soon as I got out of work. And, as soon as I had things lined up, like, after I quit, I made in 3 months what I would have made the whole year working there at a part-time job. So it didn't make sense anymore for me to stay there. And I've never had to have another part-time job. But, like I showed my wife that I would do whatever it would take to show her that, that the bills are going to get paid regardless. So going back to this distributor that we were talking about, a friend of mine, I just told him, like, hey, look, first he told me, like, I need some encouragement. What do you think I should do? Well, the first thing that comes to my heart is, like, go sow a seed of favor. Go do something for somebody. Like, go, because that's what I do whenever I'm struggling in my real estate. Like, I go into my office and I go and help new agents that I just find a way to, like, sow that seed of favor. Go ahead and make somebody's life easier with the knowledge and wisdom that I have. And I just see, like, next thing I know, like, I have a call and I'm already again on another deal. So that's what I told them. Just, go sow a seed of favor. Help somebody solve somebody else's problem. The other thing I'm going to tell you is whatever it takes to pay those bills. You make sure that those bills are paid. You know that, and It Works has showed you and has given you a glimpse into legacy money. This is what it has showed you. Right now, bills need to be paid. Make sure that they're covered. But this that you have been exposed to, nobody can take away. So don't feel bad. You have to go, get work for a little bit. But when the time is right, then you'll be able to go full speed with this again. Nobody can ever take that away. Your eyes can never be, they're open. So this gives you legacy money. And the other thing I told them too is, like, well, I mean, last I checked, we're not in a recession. Economy is doing good. Because I was in a recession and I still was able to sell, $100+ $1,000 properties, even when, like, it was like it screeched to a halt. Like, there was nothing happening, but God still provided. So I was like, well, last I checked, that's not going on right now. And we're selling, $99, signups and $59 boxes of wraps. So what is the problem? You're gonna need to tell me that you can't find somebody that's willing to invest $99 for an unlimited return on their investment. Okay, and we sell $25 wraps, $59 boxes of wraps. So and we have great products. So he was like, yeah, you're right. Like, that is a lie. It's just a lie that you start believing. Like Sammy said, the voices you start hearing that you think it, like, nobody's buying or nobody wants this product. I asked everybody, but that's a lie. You need to go talk to more people, because that's what I was taught too. Like, for every 16 people that I know, somebody would probably want to buy a home. For every 50 people that I didn't know, there's a possibility somebody, and that's for $100,000 properties. I mean, the numbers will change for our business. So it's just, you just gotta talk to more people. and there's just nothing going on really in an economy that people wouldn't spend.
And just to add, today we met, we do quarterly meetings with our financial advisor. And, one thing that he told us, because I asked him, I was like, was 2016 weird for your other clients? Like, is it just my business? Is it just us? And he's like, no, it was an interesting year. He's like, but one thing that I will tell you is that, things are looking good. Like he said that, the stock market's usually what drives. And he's like, will there be another recession? Absolutely. I guarantee there will be. But he's like, it's not anytime soon. He's like, it's just part of the way it works. Recessions come, it's going to happen at some point, but it's not anytime soon. Things are looking good. Things are looking better, slow, but better. He says it's going to be a slow growth, with the change of presidency and everything, but it's going to be growth. And I just thought that was encouraging to hear from somebody who it's their industry. One thing that I also wanted to add, to what Sammy was saying, from, the lies that we believe, is that the thing is that we're not going to, if you try to sit down and write down all the lies that you're believing, it's not an easy task. It's probably one you wouldn't even be able to complete in full, because what makes deception so effective is that it's deception. You don't know that you're believing those lies. And so it's even something that you want to start praying on for God to reveal, what lies are you believing? Because if you try to sit down in your own flesh and write down those things, you're not going to think of them all. Because the enemy is really good at the deception is effective because it's deceiving. It wants you to believe these things. So
yeah, and also going back into one of the things Samuel was saying, if you're one of the ones that experience this things going on, you can relate. But if you're not, I'm gonna feed off of you. And those are things that I've been seeing. I've been seeing new people that are on fire, that are signing people. And because they don't know any better. They don't know. And that's how sometimes we just have to have bad memory. It's like in football. You can't be remembering the last fumble that you caused, because you'll get another fumble. You have to have a bad memory for those things. You have to forget about it, take the ball, next down, keep on running, keep on pounding it. Because if you keep dwelling on it, every single play you get the ball, somebody's trying to knock it out of your hands. You cannot have good memory for that. So have, bad memory for that type of thing. And I would get close to the people that are, that are on fire. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Even the rank, they could be at the executive level, but you see that fire, team up, go and solve a problem, go and sow the seed of favor, because their fire combined with your wisdom and knowledge is explosive.
Yeah, and I was telling Ivan, I've been spending a lot of time with one of my new distributors that, they're at a level that I don't even get paid on, but their fire is so big right now that I'm just I was telling Rachel and Sammy, I am just sticking close to the fire, because that is what fuels me. It's a reminder that this is why we do what we do. She just came by the house to drop off a table and some stuff. And she's because before when I signed her, I had to call her before 9 because she went to bed early. And I'm like, I'm sorry that you had to come so late. She's like, no, I don't know what's happened to me. Something's changed. I stay up late thinking about the business. I'm working. I'm like, you guys, this business changes.
And the people that she's talking to are like that too. They're all posting and commenting. I can't sleep, and I'm just thinking about what we're gonna do.
So, and also one last thing that we wanted to share is just getting in that entrepreneur mindset. We're talking about this earlier, and so many, because this is new, we're all babies to this. Most of us have never owned a business before, and if you have, then this is probably not new to you. But my friends that do have that natural entrepreneurial, attitude, they went and signed a loan to start their business. They move forward with that decision, knowing that it was going to take at least 3 years to break even, because they walked into that business with the longevity of, at 5 years, I can make X amount of dollars, or at 10 years, this is how much money we're going to be making. And I just challenge everybody right now to think, how are you walking into 2017? Are you thinking of it as, well, I'm just going to give it this one next year and see how it goes? Or are you thinking of it as I know what residual income can do. This is what Rachel said, this is what I'm called to do. And I am excited what's happening in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, not just, month to month, next year, let's just see. It's just, we've got to start thinking like business owners, because we have huge organizations waiting to happen under every single one of us. If we get into that mindset.
And as business owners, you got also need to know that know that there are peaks and valleys. Not everything is like just going up and up and up. There's peaks and valleys throughout the year, and you have to average out, where you're at for the year, maybe even 2 years. Like, keep in mind that they won't lend you on a home unless they can average 2 years of their last income. So why are you gonna go and get down on 1 month or 2 months of because your check dropped? Because what is gonna matter is, like, at the end of 2 years, like, where we are at, averaged out.
And it's funny because he's been doing this business for so long that sales is normal. Like, this month he doesn't have a closing, but he's not freaking out about it because he knows what's coming. And so when I would tell him, like, oh babe, I'm like so sad, so-and-so's discouraged and this person quit and this and that, and I'm like weighed heavy and my heart hurts and I'm sad. And he's like, I don't understand. Like, this is just business. Like, it's just the way it goes. It's ups and downs. And I'm like, he makes it seem so simple.
Well, yeah, and also because when I have those really great months that, they're just like astronomical, like really, but, I'm not fooled by it. I've been doing this 12 years. So I know that those great months, I need to make sure like that they're covering the rest of the year. I always, have a real mentality, just a mentality of staying skinny and putting away, because I don't have a contract or a corporate job that I know every 2 weeks my check is there. No, that doesn't, it's not for me. That's not the way it happens in my household. So I just need to make sure like that everything is covered and our bills, we know where they're at, and that's gonna be covered. Sometimes it's 2 months can cover us for the whole year, or
if it means that if you guys haven't done this already, maybe you're just, but write down what's the bare minimum that you need to make, not necessarily in this business, but for your bills to be paid in your home. So that way, you know what you're striving for. And if it means you need to go get that part-time job, then do it. So that way you can work this business out of love. Don't build a bitter attitude towards it works because it's not paying you the bills that it once did, because you know it can happen. And I think a lot of us can say we have people on our team who have lost gratitude for what this business has done for them just because they saw a transition in their paychecks. They didn't take, they lost that grateful heart for what it has done. Because that gratitude is what's going to keep you working and keep you doing this out of love and not to strive, like Rachel was talking about. I love that. She's used that word a couple of times with me. It's like, we just need to work this out of love, no more striving. And I know it's hard. We see the houses, we see this and that. We need to have those goals, but we've got to be committed to working this to help more people, and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, and that's where I go back to that sowing that seed of favors. It's helping people, like either new customers or people that you need to team up with to go and do a party with. And just we do things in excellence. The reward is gonna come. That's why the law of sowing and reaping is like it's beautiful. And that's why I don't worry, because I continue to sow seed all year round. So even though I have only 15 days left in the month, I know great things can happen in a few days. So and even if they didn't, I have sowed in excellence the opportunities that I have.
I think too, like, just what I was mentioning, long-term vision, and we'll have to wrap this up. We've been almost an hour. I know we jumped on a little late, but just you guys have long-term vision with this. Like I said, we're all newbies, honestly. I mean, we don't know what we're doing. And so for us to cut the cord short, it would really be an injustice to yourself. You're not going to know what you can truly do with something unless you really dig your roots down deep and grow. I mean, like, what in the world have you ever seen that grows healthy quick? Like, it's the trees that grow their roots down deep and get watered. And I mean, it's like the laws of life. Okay. Like, think of anything takes time if you want to see something big and great from it. So just, be steady, be consistent, love people. It's something that you do have to have your game on every day, but it doesn't have to be out of striving. It can be out of joy. It can be out of love, and if you can just dedicate that day each day and wake up and just say, God, it's your day. Connect the people that you want me to connect with. Open the doors that you can open. Investing a few people a day or investing in one person a day will go much further than somebody who is some sort of mass recruiter. Eventually, they will shut down. Their bodies can't do it over time. Okay.
I also wanted to share this and going back into what you guys mentioned, Rachel and Jeremy, is that, God rested one day and we win, right? And the
Mhm.
devil is the one that never sleeps. Okay, so we can take a day off and we have still won.
That's
Okay,
good.
that's the God that we serve. Because yes, we were working like crazy because we were in like just going up, and there was no breaks. And we need to recharge. And then when we recharge, we're gonna come back harder, stronger, smarter. Like let the devil continue to spin his wheels over and over and over again. And
Yes.
that's one thing that I learned when I used to work 7 days a week in real estate. I used to make a whole lot less. Now I take my day off, sometimes even more, and I make a whole lot more than I used to make when I worked 7 days a week. Doing that.
She's so cute. Well, and then just the last thing I want to do before I just have Jeremy close us out in prayer. She's so cute. Oh my gosh.
She's puppy.
Her smile.
Can I share something real quick? Along the lines of what you guys were saying, Candy and I, we have a sister that's married to a doctor. And so we, saw the whole process of it and, going to college and having to have the perfect grades. And he studied all the time. And then it was the next part of his residency. And that was a few more years. And I mean, as a resident, you work so hard and you get paid beans. And so we remember like seeing their struggle, raising kids on, just being broke and that whole struggle. But he kept going and he worked hard and he did it with excellence. And then finally, he became a doctor and now they make an amazing paycheck. And I think about how hard he worked to get there, and he still works hard. Like he still has to go into work. He still has to take his vacations a year in advance. He has to be on call and get called in the middle of the night. So that is their life, and they're happy and they love it. But I think about us, and I think about how, so often like we want it to happen so quick, but we don't realize that it is a process and it takes time. And just like that, doctors or teachers or whatever profession, like you have to take time to learn, to get better, to become a professional. Like you have to take time. And so we can't beat ourselves up anymore. If you didn't hit diamond in a year, it's okay. It's okay. Like it's going to take time. And if you haven't hit double and you've been in and you're like, what the heck, why haven't I double or triple or prez yet? It's okay. It takes time. Just, keep working. Don't give up. Like even if your paycheck's not equaling what you think it should, keep working. Because I think about, them and their income, and I think about us, and honestly, Rachel, you probably make the same amount he does. And, and us, and I think about that and I'm like, gosh, like sometimes I just wish we could show you guys like the reality of it, and how if you just stay consistent and you keep working, and not out of this crazy striving and not to a point where you exhaust yourself, but just be consistent. Like, did I do something today that's going to make me money? Okay, I'm good. Now I can go have fun with my family, kind of a thing. You will just be so amazed at the kind of paycheck that you can get, but it will take time. Just like for him to become a doctor, I think it was like 11 years. Like it will take time, but it can happen and it's possible. Like, not that it can happen, it will.
Did you see Carla Burns posted in the ambassador page? She put, a survey conducted in 2014 found a median starting salary of $395,000 for brain surgeons. After 6 years in practice, the average salary grew to $589,500. That's presidential and ambassador annual commission. Isn't that perspective?
Yeah, that's
crazy. The thing about that is
And it
that
takes
the
them
doctors will tell
13
you-
years or whatever, or 15 years to get to a place where they're earning that. So just stay committed, you guys. And listen, that I had learned one thing the other night. I had extensions in, and so she was taking them out. And the owner, she's the owner, and she actually signed up for it work. She believes in this because she's like, Rachel, I can't believe she's on my team. Some like under Mindy Greaves. They somehow know each other, but she goes, she's a very successful salon owner in my downtown. And it's like, everyone sees it. Everybody knows it's there. And she was like, Rachel, she was like, she was like, I'm too busy to attack this thing. But what you guys have is brilliant. She was like, do you realize that it costs me $10,000 a month to keep this thing open? Yeah. $10,000 a month to keep her salon open. That then goes the amount of pay, all of the hairstylists. And then on top of that, like, what does she take home? And then she's got she's got to pay back the loan. Okay. So she owes $120,000, I think she said, on a loan. So she's got to feed her family. She's got to pay out $10,000. And she's like, Rachel, it drives me nuts. She was like, I can't believe that you guys have like $120 that you pay out every month. And she was like, and you make so much more than me. Like, my goal is just to make like a little bit of what you make. Like, it's crazy. And she goes, and she's pulling all the same business decisions that I am. I mean, her secretary, this is all that I picked up in the hour and a half I was with her. The girl at the front desk, she was like, talking to one of the other girls, and she goes, she was like, you're gonna have to let her go. She's not friendly. Do you realize she didn't even say hi to me? Like, when I walked in, and she was like, you're gonna have to let her go. She was like, this isn't gonna work out for her. And like and it was making me think, how many people do we hold on to on our team when we just need to let them go? And we all posted a thing that Chantel said, don't chase them. Like, bring someone else in new. Like, don't chase them. And that's exactly, she's making those business decisions, you guys, every day. She lives in that. She walks in the authority that she owns that salon. She is the business owner of that salon, and she has complete authority over it. Do we walk like that is what I'm asking you. The reason why I'm telling you this is because it challenged me. Do I walk like that because she sees me like I am that? Do I walk like that? Because she makes those decisions every single day. She's hiring, firing, pulling in people. She has to make huge decisions on $10,000 a month, keeping her doors open. And they make more than that. But like, is it that much? No, not compared to what we're doing in this business. And so she knows this business plan. She's like, it's brilliant. She was like, I've seen so many network marketing comp plans. She goes, especially being a salon owner, I've seen it all. She's like, it works is amazing. She's like, I'm like, that's why I joined it. She goes, you guys have an amazing comp plan. She goes, it's just brilliant. And so anyways, even in her mind, as busy as she is, she gets it. She knows that this thing is so smart. So I just was very challenged by this. It was just a few days ago. And I just wanted to pass that along to you guys as we close up. Just know, like, you need to walk in that ownership of your business. Know what you've got. Walk in that and know where you're going in the new year. Like, it's all unpredictable. Even her business is unpredictable. She didn't know what this year would bring her. She doesn't know what next year's going to bring her. But is she the owner of that business? Absolutely. Does she open her doors every day? Yes. And turns off the lights at night? Yes. Is she there doing hair? Yes. She's committed. Okay. So you got to be committed to it. And so anyways, I hope that encourages you guys. I would love to stay chatting with you guys in Messenger afterwards, but let's just pray. And I just asked Jeremy if he'd pray for us as we close up, and I'll just stop recording here. Maybe I should keep the recording on prayer. Okay, go ahead. I'll turn it off after.
You know what? I just felt like getting ready to pray. Let's pray Psalm 23 together, okay?
Lord, I don't know what that is.
Well, you're about to find out. Lord, you are our shepherd, God. Okay. And that means that we have everything that we need. It means that when we need it, you make us lie down beside the quiet waters so that we can drink. And you lead us into green pastures where we can rest. And you're always so faithful to restore our soul. We thank you so much for that, God. And Lord, thank you that even in times when we feel like we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, that you're with us. And your authority and your strength, they protect us. They give us joy and they give us comfort in every situation. God, thank you that you anoint our heads with oil and our cup overflows. And God, we just believe that you're going to prepare a table before us in the presence of our enemies. And that surely goodness and love are going to follow us. They're going to chase us down. Your goodness and your love are going to be with us in every moment for the rest of our lives. And so, God, I just pray that whatever 2016 has been, Lord, thank you that you've been with us the whole time as our shepherd. You know exactly what we need. And God, we trust you and we lean on you moving into this next year. So Lord, be with us. I pray that you bless every business, God, represented on this page right now. In Jesus' great name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yay. At first I was like, wait. I thought he wanted us to pray that psalm with him. And I was like, guys, we don't know what this is. Psalm? Well, I did. I thought you wanted us to say it with you.
Oh no,
and I was
no,
like, we don't.
great.
You don't have this memorized. Okay, awesome. Well, if we can work, this is going to happen, guys. It's going to be a good new year.
It is.
It is. It is. So thanks for joining us tonight, you guys. I'm excited. Thanks for sticking with us all the way to the end. And let's just stay connected. So, all right. Okay. See y'all later. You can unmute. Oh, I guess I was going to leave it open for questions. Sorry.